Okay, so for the next team I have on my list, the Brooklyn Nets. They're 28-17 as their fourth in the Eastern Conference, and their last game they won against Utah, and they're up against the Golden State Warriors right now that I'm watching this game, and they're up by 3 points. And I think for the Brooklyn Nets, they pretty much have had basically a roller coaster season. They had Steve Nash at the time, they were 2-5, they basically fired him, and after hiring Jacques Vaughn, who I've seen is a good coach back in the day as he coached Orlando, they're 26-12 ever since that change was made. And their executive Sean Marks is going to have to make some changes next season if anything doesn't go well. For the Nets, what's so good about them? They're top 15 in points in the league. They score at 113 points per game. They play defense. They hold their opponents to under 110 points a night, and that's the fourth best in the league. And they have almost a top 10 offensive rating, and they have a top 7 defensive rating in the league, and that's pretty good. I'm very surprised to see this Nets team actually playing defense, as they had basically James Harden and made a change to get Ben Simmons, and seeing them play defense a bit better is why they're winning games. And they have a plus 3.1 net rating, that's the 6th best in the league, and as of right now, if they are to keep going, I think they're basically on a pace to win at least 40 to 60 games, even in the East, if they were to go undefeated. But in that, they seem pretty well. Like their offense is pretty much fair. They're in the top 20 or 17 in offense, but the reason why they're winning is because of their defense. They're holding opponents to under 120 points a night. They have a plus a positive net rating. Like, what more can I not say? And they have defensive players right out there and players that can shoot threes. And they have a lot of players that can play defense. They have Nick Claxton, who's basically a defensive player of the year candidate. They have Royce O'Neal, who's basically known for a bit of defense, at least 6'4", and a good defensive wing throw out there. They have Ben Simmons, who's basically a defensive tank and can run the point guard position when necessary. And he basically has the height at 6'10". And you have basically another 3-and-D guy in TJ Warren, though he doesn't really play defense a lot, but he's basically known for a bit of defense, and along with Markieff Morris. So they basically have a lot of defensive players, and KD and Kyrie, they're not really explosive on the defensive side of the ball, but they have pretty much complementary pieces to help them out. I think for the Nets, if they can get like another center, because I remember last year they lacked a depth at a center position, if they can get something like a Miles Turner, their roster will just be amazing. Because the only thing they lack is basically another center, and they need like another shooter to help this team out, or something like like a 3-and-D guy to help them out a lot. And they also have shooters out there. They have Joe Harris, who shoots a 3-ball over 30%. They have Yuta Watanabe shooting a 3-ball at almost a good 30 to 40%, as he's shooting the league's best in 3-point shooting right now. Cam Thompson and Patty Mills are good 3-point shooters. And you have anyone else to fill it out. You have Kevin Durant, who's basically an offensive juggernaut. This Brooklyn Nets team, they pretty much has what it takes to contend, and I'm pretty much sure they're basically a big boy team right now. And the only reason why they're basically fourth in the East, because Kevin Durant's out for at least a month, I think, with an MCL sprain, and he should be back probably within the next 2-3 weeks. And TJ Warren's been dealing with knee problems, so he might be dealing with a little bit of issues, but I think you gotta give credit to the coaching staff, because you have Thiago Splitter, who's basically a good center back in the days. He's a very good development coach. You have Jacques Vaughn, who's a very good coach. And you have all the other stats. I think the Brooklyn Nets, they know what they're doing. And their per game stats, how this basically breaks down. The Nets basically have 2 20 points per game scores. And they have 2 scorers that score over 25 points a game, and that's Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, obviously. And they shoot 36% from the 3-point line. And they shoot 48 and 55% from the field. And they already get their free throw line enough. They get to the free throw line almost about 10 times a game. So what more can you not ask? They're basically your offensive superstars, so they can get you a bucket. And you have other players too that can help them out, like Nick Claxton, giving you 12 points a game and having a 73% on the field goal percentage. And his free throw shooting is a bit of a question for me, but it pretty much gets it done. He can just rim run and do everything he wants. And Ben Simmons, he basically is a defensive juggernaut, as he's getting you almost a steal per night, 6 assists, and he's rebounding the ball at 6 rebounds per game. So they're pretty much disruptive on the glass. And Joe Harris, Steph Curry, and others, and Yuta Watanabe, they're all shooting the 3-ball above 30%. And they still have veteran players like Patty Mills, Markieff Morris, and everyone else that can get it done. So I think the Brooklyn Nets team, they have what it takes to contend if they keep doing things correctly. As they get another piece or two, I think they could possibly, I think for the Brooklyn Nets, they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because you have an offensive superstar in Kevin Durant, you have a defensive player of the year in Nicholas Claxton, and you have 3-point shooters. If you get more 3-point shooting, it could help them out a lot. And For their own team stats, they're second in field goal percentage in the league, and they're second in 3-point shooting, so they basically can get to the rim a lot. They can basically score a decent percentage, and they're first in blocking shots. So they play defense, they shoot threes, they get to the rim a lot, and they're pretty much good. And the only bad thing I can say for this team what they gotta improve on is, and also the Nets don't really foul a lot, so that's pretty much great. And another thing I can say that the Nets gotta improve on is their free throw shooting a little bit, the amount of 3-point attempts they take per game, but that will come to be more, and they're basically small, so they don't rebound the ball a lot. If they can get like a big, that can help them out a lot, as they basically block a lot of shots. So I think if they get a big or two, that could help them out a lot. And for their opponents, they play defense. They hold their opponents at the second best field goal percentage in the league. They hold them to about a good amount of field goal attempts. And they hold their opponents under a threshold. They always play defense, and surprised seeing the Nets team playing defense as they had Harden. They wouldn't play any defense. But the only thing they really lack is just size and basically versatility. And if they can get someone like a Miles Turner or like another center that can fill that void and be a stretch center for them, they could be a problem. I think for the Nets, they see how what it takes to win the East, but they need a couple more pieces because the Boston Celtics just have a loaded bench. You have Philadelphia with James Harden and Joel Embiid. I don't know if you're going to stop those two. And you have also you have the Milwaukee Bucks and players like Giannis and Brook Lopez. So how are you going to stack up against them is my biggest question. For the Brooklyn Nets, I think if they can just go on a streak and keep what they've been doing well, I think they should be alright. But for the Brooklyn Nets, I don't really see anything wrong. If they can make another move or two, like I said, it can pretty much help them out. And before I end this video, I don't think there's really anything else I gotta talk about. And the lineup to basically wrap it off, does the most for this Brooklyn Nets team is the lineup of Nick Claxton, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Royce O'Neal, Ben Simmons, and play very well together. They play very good. And my only question in this lineup is how can you play Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton together in the playoffs, because they both can't shoot, and the spacing they're gonna throw for the Brooklyn Nets are going to be very crazy as they'll stack up on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So if they kind of clog the paint, it'll pretty much be trouble for the Brooklyn Nets. But we'll see how it goes. And for the Brooklyn Nets, I don't really see anything else that's wrong with them. But my only question to you is, how can the Brooklyn Nets just have basically a lineup of Nick Claxton and Ben Simmons and work around it? That's really all I got to say for the Brooklyn Nets. And they pretty much seem like a very good team. Their starting lineup basically has a positive in points, they're basically a positive in defensive rebounding, and they're positive in the assists per game. So I don't know what more to say as they block a lot of shots. So I think that's all I gotta say for the Nets. And if you all like this video for basically these team reviews or team thoughts, let me know what you think down below. And it's your boy Demi, and I got these videos coming each every day. And I'm out, man. Peace.